5 signs your avoidant partner is actually trying in your relationship. So this is for you if you have an anxious attachment style and you are with an avoidant partner. This post I've created already on social media. A lot of people really resonated with this because it is not always easy to tell if he's trying. Sometimes it's really obvious to see, okay, he's not interested in me, but I have written down a few things that are really more signs where you can tell, you know what, your partner is into you. And it just looks so different than if you are with someone who has a secure attachment style. So I know what most of you are thinking. You are easily jumping to conclusions. You are thinking he is not trying. And I used to think the same. I used to have an anxious attachment style. Now I have created an earned secure attachment style. And it's so much easier now to look at this with this lens. Because when an avoidant attachment style tries, it would look completely different than when someone with an anxious attachment style tries in relationships. So no long text, no constant reassurance. It doesn't look loud and they wouldn't scream from a balcony. So your brain goes into like, okay, this means he doesn't care. But here's the truth. I just basically want to run through you what I've written in the social media post, and you can comment on the YouTube or on Spotify. I think you can leave comments just what you are thinking or what your maybe even limiting beliefs are about this or about your relationship. Because again, first of all, not all avoidants are the same. So please bear in mind that these are just some signs. This is not a black and white thing here. Everyone is different. But here is the truth. An avoidant trying does look so different. And if you don't know the signs, you might really miss it. You're spiraling, you're thinking, okay, he doesn't care, he doesn't love me, he's going to reject me, he's going to leave me, I have to break up, I just have to find a secure partner. And guess what? You can't easily find a secure partner if you are not secure yourself yet. Because again, you will always attract what's familiar. So that's why I'm always saying you really want to become secure, attached either way. You don't do it for your partner, you do it for yourself, because it will either really help you out in your relationship with your avoidant partner, or it will really help you out in your friendships, later in other relationships if this doesn't work out with your partner, because it is easing your anxiety. You will have tools to regulate your nervous system. You look at relationships at life so differently because you don't have these limiting beliefs anymore. And then you attract to people who are actually treating you also so differently because their capacity of love and connection is so different. They don't have this fear around vulnerability and connection. However, I know it's not as simple. Like if you are already with an avoidant partner and you do really love them, you might just try everything to make it work if you know they're a good person, if they have good traits in themselves, and see, hey, is this changing? If the needle is moving, if this capacity in the avoidant is changing and if things are growing, and if you're feeling good in this relationship. So let me just start with the 5 signs so you actually have some clarity. Sign number one that your avoidant partner is trying right now in your anxious avoidant relationship is that he returns. So you know right now, often he is shutting down, no matter if it's in a conversation emotionally, or maybe he's walking out. And after a conversation, after there was pressure, after a long weekend together, after lots of quality time, so sometimes they do shut down. However, a sign that your avoidant partner might be trying is they do come back. This could be he just opens up the conversation again, or he just, gives you like a certain eye contact, something just really like a you thing. Maybe he just sends you a text with a picture or like a funny meme or something really random, like sends you a reel or a video, or maybe brings you your favorite coffee, something to reconnect again. And that is one way of reopening this connection. Sign number 2 is that your avoidant is trying is that he actually stays, that he doesn't run away. So you bring something up, maybe in a conversation, and he kind of looks uncomfortable because anything deeper when it comes about emotions being vulnerable is very triggering for them. They haven't learned that it's safe to have this deeper emotional chats about commitment, about emotions. They have learned emotions are bad. Being vulnerable is really bad, it's dangerous, but they stay. They don't leave, they don't run away, they don't just suddenly break up, they stay within the conversation. Maybe they swallow, maybe they can feeling very overwhelmed, but again, they are there for you. He doesn't leave. He doesn't leave the next day, and he doesn't suddenly break it off and discard. Or possibly he avoids the conversation or replying to you and going deep at it, but at least he stays with you physically. Comes back maybe even a few hours later. Let's say he does need some space and he just nods and, goes off. And later he comes back on and, is still there for you instead of completely disappearing for days. Because there are some avoidant attachment style who have a very low tolerance for emotions and discomfort, like chats like this. And some of them, they might need like an hour or 2-3 hours when they're really trying. Like from clients, I know their partners sometimes they used to disappear for literally days, and now through the anxious becoming more secure, it quite a whole different dynamic in the relationship where their avoidant partner doesn't disappear for days anymore. They disappear maybe for 1 hour in a different room just so they can cope and manage their emotions, and then they come back after an hour. That is completely valid. Even securely attached people, they do need some time when it's something really triggering for them, no matter if it's 10 minutes, no matter if it's half an hour, and then you do find a connection. Then number 3 is small changes. So there are more smaller changes. For example, anxious attachment really does these massive changes. They go to therapy. They really want to talk things out right now. They would love to talk for hours. They love to stay up all night to talk things through. They might even change their whole personality, be like a chameleon, just to fit in the relationship, just to be someone who the other partner maybe would like. They would change their entire personality, and they take criticism very, very to heart. However, an avoidant attachment style, they don't just change completely overnight. They feel still also very triggered and personally attacked through criticism. But if they get feedback like, what, I really would love if we don't raise our voices during a conversation. Can we keep it like chill? Can we find a way to manage to get through this? For example, my partner and I, we used to have really, really ugly fights back then when we used to live in London. We used to share a room in a really small room. And at that time, our emotions were boiling over. I had literally anger issues. I didn't know how to self-soothe. I didn't know anything how to cope and manage my emotions. My partner either. He was really like getting verbally maybe aggressive, like raise his voice because he's Italian as well. And his body language would stand up, and that would make me extremely feel emotionally unsafe, I can say. So eventually I didn't know, I wasn't a relationship coach back then. I didn't know what to do, but I kind of, the more secure I became, I found ways what I wanted in the situation. I realized I found this trick where you say, what, if your emotions are flooded, meaning if one of you are flooded, meaning really triggered, you can't talk it out anymore. That's why you keep saying things that are really hurtful, or you're doing things in the moment during this conflict that are really, really bad, because you're completely acting with your primitive brain in the moment. Your logical brain is completely switched off. So basically, I learned this tool to like say, hey, let's have a break. You ask for like 10-minute break or half an hour break, and then you basically cut off any conversation at that point. But you discuss this in a moment when you're calm. You say, what? You have a break signal where either one of you will call it for a break when you realize the other partner is emotionally flooded or when you're self-flooded. And that was a game changer. And this change was my suggestion. And it did take, not just for him, but also for me to implement it and remember it in the moment. It did take, I think, a couple of months to really nail it down. And even sometimes now, if it's a very emotional, heavy topic, we can't forget about it. But the thing is, your partner overall wants to do these changes. They want to work on a solution with you. Sometimes they don't have the tools, they don't know what to do. I didn't know it at the time either, but the anxious attachment is, usually more the one who actively figures things out, Googles things, tries to talk with friends about solution, and the avoidant is more the one who does implement the things. And then the fourth sign that your avoidant partner is trying is he opens up. Not massively, not all at once, but he opens up in little bubbles, in little pockets that feel safe for him and that can grow over time as well. Again, I got really attacked, or not me attacked, but the avoidance really get attacked online on this Instagram reel I posted, because I think they're often misunderstood on one hand. On the other hand, I do believe that there are a lot of avoidants out there that are very hurtful and have done a lot of hurtful things to other people, to the anxious. So I do really, really understand it. And I think I was just really lucky that, first of all, my avoidant was never that extreme, bad, toxic that he just broke up with me on that date, completely just like threw me away, or did something extremely bad. But at the same time, also, I was really doing the work quite fast after our honeymoon phase, when things fell apart, when I had the I am done moment several times, when I was crying and crying my eyes out, lying in the grass in London, in the parks, or lying in my room on the bed before we moved even into a shared room. We had like separate rooms. We lived in a flat share. When he kind of kicked me out of his room, and so I moved into my room next door, and I felt completely abandoned. So I did really do my work to see, okay, what can I do? And after I found attachment theory, I realized, oh my God, that's why I am so much someone who craves this connection and wants to fix things and overthinks and goes at the problem, versus my partner's the one who is the opposite. He wants to forget about it. He doesn't overthink it. He just wants to, forget about things. And he's also the one who gets so defensive about it. Everything made sense. And that's why I think, we can't expect our partner to react how we react. The more you understand why they react this way, it came from childhood and how they were treated in childhood, and then saying, okay, what can I do in my power? You can leave, you can heal your one abandonment wound, whatever feels comfortable for you and safe for you, and not all avoidants are the same. But anyway, so side number 4 is, I don't even know what my beginning point was. I sometimes start something and I drift off. So sorry. So number 4 was he opens up in little pockets. Maybe he says, oh, I had a really stressful day at work. Is able to at least admit to that. My partner at the beginning, he had terrible days at work because he was like a health worker, where literally on one day, some of the clients like one threw acid in the other client's face because they really had bad mental health issues. And that he told me. But everything else, when there were still massive things going on, he never really shared. He really wanted to forget it. That's a very typical thing for avoidant. They want to forget about the emotions. They have learned from childhood talking about it does not help. But now, in my relationship over the last few years, my partner has learned it does help. Maybe it doesn't help talking it out, but it's at least safe. I'm not criticizing him. I'm not making him open up. I'm just there if he's ready, and I can ask curious questions. I can listen as well. And that's all I can do for him. And over time, he does open up more. He shares things more, and it's beautiful if it happens, but I'm not forcing anything. But we do talking about the important things in our relationship, in our life, if, if they're important or if I want to. It's not that he shuts it down or he avoids it. That's a misconception. Or it happens, I guess, in the beginning when they don't feel safe. But with my avoidant, who now became more secure, he does share things with me, and especially if I bring them up as well. The last sign your avoidant is trying is he tolerates discomfort. Discomfort can mean lots of different ways. It can mean not completely shutting down during a hard conversation. It can mean committing to something he would have felt completely freaked out years ago when he was maybe more avoidant, but now, because your avoidant really wants to make it work with you, he does really love you, he is considering no commitment. There could be marriage, it could be a milestone, it could be creating a family, it could be reassuring you, validating you. The other day, or maybe it was a few weeks ago, he was really comforting to me. He was really validating me, giving me this massive pep talk when I had like a really bad and rough day. And then it was incredible. He was so emotionally mature and available to me. And I think, there's this thing where people say an avoidant is so emotionally unavailable, but he was super emotionally available. And that is not just a one-off. It is if you create a safe space for yourself first, healing your anxious attachment style, you are also giving your avoidant the opportunity to shift and build the capacity for them as well. Other signs may be that they're tolerating more discomfort, could be, let me think. Okay, let's say he's not in a capacity to talk about things right now. Let's say he comes back from work, and work is always a stressful factor for him. So he comes back from work, he's overwhelmed, he's not in a good headspace at all, and you really want to talk about your day. Something happened to you. And in the past, that would have been the wrong moment to talk to him about it because he's stressed as well. He doesn't want, again, all your emotions now dumped on top of him, maybe later, but not right now. But because he realizes right now you need someone as well to talk to, because, for example, in my everyday life, I've moved to Sicily right now and I don't have many connections. I'm basically alone all day unless I'm jumping on a call with my friends or family. I'm basically pretty much alone. My partner knows this. So when he comes home after work, he does listen. He is tolerating this and asking questions and is able to listen, even though sometimes I know he's blanked out completely. He's like completely drained. He is not always completely responding, giving me the best advice or validating me that moment. Sometimes he's just like, oh, I'm so drained, but he's able to listen. He's not invalidating me. He's not telling me to shut down, or he's not telling me to talk about this another time. He's not rude. He's able to receive it. And I always said, hey, if you don't have a moment now, if you can't receive it, let's talk about this later. So I think these are all great signs he's trying. There might be so many more as well, but this is just a starter. So if you're thinking, okay, my partner is trying right now, or there are many more signs, or my partner's not trying, just let me know in the comments on YouTube or on Spotify of what is standing out for you right now. And if your partner is, shutting down, no matter if it's in micro moments or in bigger moments, for me, I always say, the more you focus on your partner, what he's doing or she's doing or they're doing, the more you're reinforcing your anxiety. Because the more you can shift into your secure attachment style and heal your anxious attachment style, the more you're equipped with your tools. You can regulate your emotions. You can change your beliefs of people will leave me, or this means now this space means it's something bad. It's not safe to have space in a relationship. You will always rewired for fear and increased anxiety yourself. However, If you become more secure, if you learn to manage that when he shuts down or he needs a moment for himself, and this is not dangerous, that this is safe, you create safety for yourself and for your nervous system, and everything will change as well in your life. So I have this Secure Woman protocol created. It's a workbook. This is something where you can journal, find out more about your past, how you're showing up in your relationship and what this means. You also find out more about the avoidant attachment style, about their partner, why they're doing certain things, why are you doing certain things, and why it's not good for you and your anxiety to focus more on what they're doing. But most importantly, what you can do, specific action steps to stop this spiral, to stop this pattern, because you are part of this pattern. You're part of it if you're overthinking it, if you are mentally or energetically or physically chasing your partner every time he pulls away or not. So grab this workbook, because this will really shift your patterns, helps you to become the version of yourself that doesn't chase, that feels secure and calm. And this will be the best thing you can do for yourself. So anyway, I hope it was helpful. Lots of love. And remember, change in your relationship starts with you, not your partner. Thought by thought, action by action, and episode by episode. Lots of love. Yula, bye-bye.